News First is carefully combing through hours and hours of footage just released today, the moments following that deadly UGA crash in January, killing 2 people.
Part of former UGA player Jalen Carter's official charges included street racing. It's a crime local and state law enforcement say is a problem all over Georgia. Let's get to investigative reporter Andy Parati, who's joining us now. And Andy, Carter says he was not racing, but accepted a plea deal acknowledging the charge.
That's right. But according to his own attorney, he admits that his client was likely driving too fast for conditions before the crash. According to the Athens Clark County Police Department, the agency that investigated the incident, complaints from the public about street racing are on the rise. Take a look at these numbers that we got from the agency. In 2020, there were 74 street racing complaints in the county. It dipped to 62 a year later and then jumped to nearly 90 complaints last year. And then the first 2 months of this year, we've seen about 17 reports of street racing so far. Now, street racing has become a big problem for Georgia law enforcement to tackle. Agencies in Atlanta and Gwinnett County have conducted undercover stings, arresting dozens of people over the past few years. In 2021, state lawmakers took notice and passed stiffer penalties for reckless stunt driving, including a mandatory 10 days in jail and a $300 fine for first offense. In some cases, law enforcement can even seize the driver's vehicles. Now, the street racing charge Carter faced was a misdemeanor, and through a plea deal, the former UGA player received 12 months probation, paid a $1,000 fine, and agreed to perform 80 hours of community